NBA Straya. How are you going? How you going? You right? I hope so. Because you ought to be. It's Monday, November 11. All day, 11/11. And this is NBA Straya, and I am your host, James Clements. You can also see my ugly mug on the panel, the official NBL Supercoach show, the AFL Today show, NFL Straya, all the good stuff, basically. Here, back in Larry Armour Studios, sweating like a priest near a preschool because it is warm. Bloody warm in here. I don't know, old mate was in here all day as well. I reckon she still had the heater on. It's like boiling out. Anyway, whatever. This is episode 1151 of NBA Straya. We're doing weekend wraps, and I'll tell you what, injuries! Can we turn injuries off this season, men? Injured stars everywhere. Chet goes down again today. Kevin Durant, Zion, Ja. We'll talk about that. Indy's copping it on the injury front too. Doesn't stop them. We've got the unstoppable Cavs. Apparently they will never lose again. That's kind of cool. We had Giannis versus Jaylen Brown. That was fun. So we've got some weekend winners and losers for you. The game wraps, the very fast game wraps. That's what we're doing at the moment. It's very good. We've also got That's Not a Knife, Old Mate, No Mate, Spud of the Night, Better Than Lonzo, Ball, D-Head of the Weekend. What's the other one? Magic Tweet of the Week. Love that. We'll get some yeah-nahs, the Unpopular Opinion of the Day, and Outback Takehouse, where we're serving up a flame grilled take. And there is an Andrew Gay's Grey Mamba Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence. And there's a couple there. Bodgies. All right, that'll be good. Then we'll pick and preview. I think there's 5 games for your Tuesday. That's fun. That's very nice. 5 is the perfect amount, if you ask me. All right, let's get into it. Episode 1151 of NBA Straya. Let's go.
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek. This is Nick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya. You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the Shaq attack.
You better. Better watch out for the Joker attack if you're Dallas. Despite, I don't know what, you had Kyrie going off his absolute nut and MPJ actually hitting the game winner. Joker today put up a stat line that has never been done. So we'll talk about that a couple of times in this show. It was a hell of an attack. And to be honest, the attack is probably directly at me for not saying that Jokic would have a chance of winning a 4th MVP because of, I don't know, the voters being sick of it. Maybe I'm just underestimating the Joker, and he's like, this is a very nice point you try to make here, Jim, but maybe I like horses too much, but maybe I'm just also the best basketball player ever live. And you're like, that's actually not a bad point then, Nicola. Right, we'll get to that in a second. Let's start with the daily. It's a whipper out, is it, Jim? Yes. Hey, Jack McVeigh, the Unabomber, dropping bombs and scored his first NBA points. The joke, look, do I have to explain the Unabomber joke as well? Because it was like Timothy McVeigh and he wasn't the Unabomber. Like, it's a funny joke. I don't feel like people get that I'm taking the piss with that joke. Yeah, anyway. Just a misunderstood genius, are you, Jim? Yes, 100%. Anyway, Jack McVeigh scored his first NBA points. We'll lead off there. That's very cool. We had Johnny Furphy in action over the weekend as well. Still yet to score his first NBA points, which kind of just sucks. But apparently he's just against the Knicks specialist because he's played them twice already in his very short NBA career. And Luke Travers crushing into the G League. Don't worry about that. But at the moment, the big story is Dyson Daniels. So when we get to the Australian Player Watch, just saying, he is leading the NBA in steals and is an all-defense first-team lock at this point of the season. Just saying. Right, let's get to the rest of the news. Kevin Durant is out for, at least 2 weeks with a calf strain. Which, I mean, if you've ever seen KD's legs, it doesn't come as much of a surprise when you go, how does that support that? You know, they're very thin. James, is that how physiology works? No. But still, the fact that this dude tore his Achilles and like did his knee, like if there's even a fucking hint of another injury, I'm like, Kevin, you're sitting for the next month. I do not care. But we'll talk about it a little bit more. But anyway, that sucks because he's been absolutely unreal, KD. Legit actual top 5 MVP candidate as well. It's like he, Joker, Totem, not Zachary Risache, but anyway, in my heart he is. Anyway, KD, out for at least 2 weeks. We'll see what happens and how long he goes. Zion is also out with a hamstring strain. That big old left hammy of his. The size of a tree trunk it is, isn't it? He's out indefinitely, though, because he's Zion. And every time he does any sort of hammy, etc., it's like, yeah, we're just not going to put a timetable on it. I'll get to this again later, but that's probably smart by the Pelicans because, geez, we're going to break that down. But that injury list is L-O-N-G long. And fellow, same draft, 1-2, wasn't it? Zion and Ja. That was, what year was that? 2019. Jeez. So old. Anyway, Ja Morant is week to week with his posterior hip subluxation without dislocation, along with multiple associated grade 1 pelvic muscle strains. So that's 2 different, well, it's multiple injuries because there's multiple associated muscle strains there. So that sucks because you saw last week Ja go down and you're like, oh, that looks like it bloody hurt. And yeah, he was pretty badly injured. So a posterior hip subluxation does not sound good. Without dislocation, that's okay, I guess. But geez, week to week is very just like, how are you feeling this week, Ja? He's like, not great. There, another week off. It stinks because we also lost Chet Holmgren as well today to falling on his hip. And when you're like a 7'20" beanpole, there's not a giant amount to sort of, I don't know, pad the fall, I guess. When you're Chet, he hit and just, it sounded brutal, I'll tell you that much. But anyway, so hopefully Chet isn't too bloody serious, but at the same time, he was like not really able to walk on it. So that's just a massive kick in the schlong for the poor OKC Thunder, who copped one right between the eyes today from the Warriors. Anyway, and sticking with injuries, because just why not bring down the mood, Jim? Jimmy Butler is not playing in today's game against the Wolves, so he didn't play in that with his ankle injury. He played 7 minutes back on, what was that, Saturday, I want to say, as the Heat lost. And it's just, this is kind of like the Jimmy Butler experience these days, isn't it? You're just like, is he good? It's like, yes. Is he going to play? We don't know. It's just what they do. It's just what Jimmy Butler does too. Anyway, it sort of stinks, but hey, they got a massive win today. So they lose that game to the Nuggets on the weekend, and then boom, turn around and pulled one out. So we'll talk about that a second in the game wraps. Indy also lose Aaron Naismith. He's out till at least till December. That's a month. Well, actually, where's the bloody time gone? It's 11th of November, Jim. That's only 3 weeks. Yep. And Andrew Nembhard is out at least 2 weeks as well. The crazy thing for me was that Indy came out today and went, do not care. Let's just wax the Knicks at home anyway. And Knicks fans are particularly aggrieved at Mikal Bridges. I'll talk about it again later, but yes. It's because Benny Mathurin has just turned into Reggie Miller again, which is kind of cool. And our man, Johnny Furphy, just, I don't know, maybe he's just like, every time he plays, they win. Even though they didn't win the other game on the weekend. Anyway, good stuff. That's about it in terms of the news. Like, Wemby had a crazy game. But they lost, which is pretty funny. And he was also very French. And he was like, Pop will be back soon. And everyone's like, I don't know if he actually means that. Jeez. So he's all right. Bronny made his G League debut. Not as good as Luke Travers, just saying. And outside of that, I don't know. We'll get to the Jaylen Brown Giannis stuff in a second. Let's do some game wraps first. Game wraps. It was a chaotic weekend. So I just mentioned Indy, who turned around and waxed the Knicks. They lost by 20 to Charlotte on Saturday morning. That was just, 103-83. It was sick. It's like, what the hell just happened there? And no one, you're just like, no, I was watching that game going, I don't know what's happening here. Like, what the bloody hell, man? Like, we had LaMelo going off, and you're like, yeah, that happens. Like, that's cool. hey, Indy, you going to do anything? And they're like, no, Jim, we're not going to do anything. And you're like, oh, that sort of game, is it? And that's exactly what it was. Bit of a tough one, but you get that on the big job sometimes. Right, what else happened in that one? Siakam at 27, who cares? Atlanta, Detroit. Detroit win that one, 122-121. This was awesome. This game was sick. You had the Cade Cunningham game winner, hands over the triple-double. You had a very, very, very fun, chaotic Dyson Daniels game, which we'll get to again because Dyson Daniels equal to career high in points, career high in steals, and the most steals of anybody this season in that game. It was absolutely bloody gnarly. It was a really fun game. Pistons win it, 122-121. Cade drops the 22, 11, and 13. Trey had 35 and 13. Not enough. Chaos. The Magic absolutely waxed. They killed the Pelicans. They straight got killed.
So he got straight killed.
They did. 115-88. Even with that, didn't matter. Franz Wagner, hello. Went absolutely hammer and tongs, and away they bloody well go. The Nets and Brooklyn played a really fun overtime. No, the Nets are Brooklyn. The Nets and Celtics, Jim, played a really fun game. Cam Thomas drops 31. Tatum goes for 33. Goes to overtime, and the Celtics just eke it out. Brooklyn are feisty. This is it. They have gamers on that team. They've got a new coach who is very good. Like, they're fighting in all of them. We'll talk about them again later, but geez. There are such things as good losses, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, good win for the C's. The Warriors got absolutely straight killed.
So he got straight killed.
By the Cavs. This was a waxing. They put up a record 83 points in the first half. Unlike the second best defense in the NBA, the Cavs. Unreal. That was their 10th straight win. They won again. Hashtag spoiler alert. So they're at 11-0. They smoked the Warriors. 136-117. Darius Rucker, Judy Garland had 27. Mobley crushed it. They're unreal. I love the Cavs. We're going to talk about them again. The Knicks smoked the Bucks. 116-94. Giannis at 24 and 12. Doesn't matter. Karl Anthony Towns at 32 and 11. And the Knicks absolutely vaccinated the Bucks. The Suns outlasted the Mavs 114-113. It was fun as hell, this game. KD versus Kyrie, two old best mates going hammer and tongs. And the Suns just eked out a win. It was the Mavs just sort of not knowing what to do at the end of this game, which was very funny, unless you're a Mavs fan. Nurk gets fouled at the end, hits the game-winning free throw. He missed the first one and then calmly nails the second one. It was so stupid. He got fouled on an offensive rebound after the miss, and you're like, oh my God, what's happening? Oh my God, he's done it. The Gafford oop from Luka to tie it up at 113 was pretty sick. But anyway, good win for Phoenix, and then they lose KD, so not ideal, obviously. Washington got straight killed.
So he got straight killed.
By Memphis, 128-104, because Washington are horrible. I'm going to talk about that again later as well. That was Memphis without Ja, BT Dubs. Scottie Pippen Jr. crushing it, which is, I don't know about you. The biggest problem I've got with Scottie Pippen Jr. is that he spells Scotty with a Y. What the hell, man? You can't be Scott. Like, it's a different name. Scottie Pippen Jr. Your dad spelled it with an I-E. It's not the same name. You can't. Oh, I'm just angry. What the hell, man? It's just like, it's like Bronny James. It's like, what's your name? Is your name LeBron James Jr.? Then you're not Bronny James Jr. You're Bronny James. Jim, are you getting angry about things again? Yes. Yes, I am. I'm always angry. I'm like the Hulk. That's my secret. I'm always angry. Simple. Don't believe me? Listen to the show. Anyway, OKC just smashed Houston as well, 126-107. That was a bit of a laugher. SGA had 29. There's just no one on that Rockets team that was going to do anything. Chet was really good in that one too, just carving up Şengün. Anyway, Trailblazers got smashed by the Wolves, 127-102. I'm just saying, there was like a hilarious moment on Saturday where I was like, oh, all these games are smashings. This is great. And then the Clippers-Kings happened. And anyway, Wolves smoked the Blazers. Ant-Man at 37. Time Lord actually played in this one, which is kind of nice. He was actually healthy for the last two games, but they've been playing Donovan Clingan, the Trekkie, and he got out there on a back-to-back. So good job by the Blazers. Happy for Time Lord. I just want to see him on a team that can compete. Heat got beaten by the Nuggets, as mentioned. There goes my Tyler Hero, 24-11. Joker, 30, 11, and 14. When you combine that with his stat line today, you're just taking the piss again. I'm just saying. But anyway, 122-135. The Heat just never had much of a chance in that. The Sixers got smashed by the Lakers, 116-106. It wasn't even that close. LeBron James at age 1 million had a triple-double, 21, 12, and 13 because, of course, he did. And then the Clippers outlasted the Kangs, 107-98. This was the heartbreaker because I think if we go back and look at our picks from the weekend, we only missed out on that Sacramento Clippers game and the Brooklyn-Boston game, I think. Oh, and Atlanta-Detroit because that was a half point. And I think we picked Atlanta plus a half point. And they lost by 1. So of those, I think, what was that, 11 games? I think we went 9 for 11. Oh, no, 8 of 11. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We went, bloody hell. Is that 10 of 13? No, wait, no, 9 of 13 because Golden State, we had them as well. So, yeah, we only missed 4 on Saturday. Of the 13, though. So I hope you listen to the picks on Friday's show. Sunday, the San Antonio Banderas Spurs got outlasted by the Utah Jazz. It's a soft J, 111-110. I'm going to yell about the Spurs in a second, but just know that I'm not impressed. 24-16 and 7 blocks for Wemby. Good stuff. Bulls 125 outlasted the Hawks 113 in a huge comeback win. We had Dyson Daniels versus Josh Giddey. That was very, very fun. Giddey was unreal at moments. Dyson was carving it up as well. This is a really fun game. I hope you watched it. The Cavs beat the Nets 105-100. Talk about comebacks. It was 35-18 in the fourth quarter. Huge win by the Cavs. Evan Mobley with the game-saving block. Well, the game-sealing block, really. He had 23, 16, and 4 steals. And then the Clippers just got by the Raptors 105-103 in hilarious fashion down the stretch. It's like the Clippers do not make anything easy on themselves, essentially. And I think you had, Zoobs crushing it, quickly hits like a tying 3 with 40 seconds left. Norm and James Harden then proceeded to miss 3 of 6 free throws down the stretch here. And nearly coughed up the game. It was absolutely hilarious, but IQ and RJ both missed shots. And Teenage Mutant Yaku Pirtle missed a putback dunk with 4 seconds left. You're like, what is going on with Toronto? They're a mess, and it's hilarious. It's also pretty sad, but this is the old Kawhi Leonard Bowl, isn't it? Remember, he won a title with Toronto? Yeah, bet you remember that one. Is it only Sixers fans who remember that title? And Warriors fans, I guess, because everybody got injured. Anyway, right, and then today's games. We had a couple of crackers. The Rockets outlasted the Pistons in the Thompson Twins Bowl, 101-99. Cade Cunningham got baptized by Jaylen Green, and that was very fun. It really was. The problem is, I guess you don't have the other Thompson twin playing for the Pistons yet because he's still under that weird injury cloud with his heart. So, yeah, not ideal. But Şengün, LP Şengün had 5 points in the last couple of minutes and they hold on. You had Cade Cunningham missing a free throw on purpose. Jaden Ivey got the board and then Tobias Harris got fouled on the rebound and missed the free throw because he's the most Tobias Harris that ever Tobias Harris. Anyway, Rockets moved to 6-4 with that win. It was pretty lucky. Pistons 4-7. Celtics outlasted the massive 17-point turnaround. Come from behind to beat the Bucks. Just ran over the top of him in the second half. 113-107. Giannis tried to sun Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown's like, I don't care. What are you doing? I just want to win. And Giannis is like, but I got 43-13. And Jaylen Brown's like, yeah, but I just won the title and I beat you. So, shush. 31-12-6 for Tatum as well. Awesome game. Knicks Pacers, as mentioned, 132. The Pacers beat the Knicks at home. Brunson was awesome, but Halliburton was awesome. 35-14 for him, beating Brunson 33-10. Miles Turner's just launching those threes at the end. It was absolutely hilarious. They outscored the Knicks 40-27 in the fourth quarter. Pacers, that was big. Pacers give him hell. Johnny Furphy just causing all sorts of havoc. The Wizards got absolutely straight killed. There's a theme here.
He got straight killed.
By the Magic, which is hilarious. 23-7 for Franz Wagner. Bilal Coulibaly had the 26-6. But wow, the Washington Wizards got curb stomped by a team without their best player. But this is it. They're kind of slowly, and we'll talk about the Magic again in a second, but Goga's been very handy filling in for Wendell. Tristan Da Silva, the rookie, has been solid as a starter in place of Bala Bangaro. Even with KCP and Suggs shooting like crap, they got 16-6 from Mo Wagner. They got 16 out of Ice Cole Anthony. Anthony Black is causing all sorts of havoc. He was a plus 16 in his 22 minutes. Good job by the Magic to get that win. I will tell you what. The Sixers outlasted the Hornets and got their second win of the season in overtime against Charlotte. It was pretty weird. LaMelo had 38 and 8. He forces overtime with a, oh, LaMelo! Like the dude, the Charlotte announcer losing his mind, which is fun as. But Jared McCain, the rookie at 27, he was awesome. And yes, like this game was like as much fun as I thought it was going to be. I was watching this just going, yeah, look, the Sixers not going to do this easy. And they were like cruising along. They're up 9 at the half. And then, no, they're up 1 at the half and then up like 10 going into the fourth quarter. That's what it was. And then boom, Charlotte flip it and tie it up, force overtime, and it goes right down to the wire. Paul George played his 33 minutes. That's about all you can sort of say about it. 15 points on 18 shots. Thank you very much, Paul. Gross. Anyway, good stuff there. What else? What were the other games? We had Heat outlast the Wolves 95-94. This game was stupid. I'm going to talk about it again in a second. The Wolves are just so annoying. 22-6. I've talked about this at length. Like, Spo has titles. That's all. Like, that's good. I kind of wanted to see him coach a good team, though, because that team sucks, and he's coaching the shit out of it. They're 4-5, the Heat. The Wolves have got Finch, who doesn't. He just sometimes has these games where you're like, do you know what you're doing? He went 6. They're now 6-4. Ant-Man had a horrible night. Anyway, funny stuff. Without Jimmy Butler, the Heat win. The Warriors out. Well, they held off a rampant Thunder team. They're up like 30 in this game. The Warriors in OKC. Against the Thunder, Steph drops 36, and the Warriors win it 127-116, but not without the Thunder getting back within 6 with about 4 or 5 minutes to go before the Warriors sort of settled down and just like held on. Then you had a 122-120 Mavs-Nuggets game. The Denver Nuggets, as mentioned at the top, MPJ gets the game winner because Nikola Jokic had one of the most incredible stat lines of all time because no one's ever done it before. 37, 18, and 15. But Kyrie Irving was also shooting flames out of his ass and kept them in that game. It was just some of the most absurd shot making you'll ever see. Meanwhile, the Joker just had, again, we had a flawless triple-double the other day from the Souvlaki King, Domantas Sabonis. And Jokic is like, yes, it's very nice. How about the triple-double that no one has ever done before again? And I'll just do this one. 37, 18, and 15. We'll talk about that again. The Kings outlasted the Suns in overtime, 127-118, in a very fun game. The Suns were, at times, like done, and then cooked it. The Kings also did the same, and then held on and just sort of eked away in overtime without, like Brad Beal kind of like, every time he hits the ground, he's like, I'm injured, I'm dead, I'm hurt. Oh, put me out to pasture. And it's like, and then he's like, oh, I'm good. You know, this guy sucks. Basically. And then like Booker and co, they were trying their absolute hardest and they just didn't have enough in overtime because this is where the Kings' superpower lies. They're like, who's going to stop these clutch like lunatics, Fox and DeMar DeRozan? And like the answer is basically bloody nobody. Like they rebounded really well down the stretch, the Kings, and they sort of just held on. Like the points that they had, like there was an and one from DeRozan. DeRozan hit another shot. He hit another another and one. And you're like, this is just demoralizing. So he scores 8 points to start the OT. And then De'Aaron Fox just hits another couple of just insane pull-up jump shots. And then another one. And then another one. You're like, this isn't fair. They both scored like 8 points in the overtime. Like all the points that they scored, the Kings, were just their clutch scorers, Fox and DeRozan. It was incredible. Anyway. Great win for the Kings. They're 6-4. Phoenix, that's their second loss of the season. They're 8-2. Would have loved to have snagged that one without KD, I'm just saying. And then finally, didn't we have another one? What's going on there? Oh, yeah, Grizzlies. They absolutely deleted the Blazers. 130. I'm wearing the Blazers hat today, if you're watching the YouTube. 134-89. It wasn't even that close, which is pretty terrifying because that is a 45-point win. Yes, they got straight killed.
He got straight killed.
Like, it was brutal. And there's no other way to put it. It's embarrassing. There's no other way to put it. It's horrible. There's no other way to put it.
This is horrible. horrible. There's no other way to put it.
Tell me about it. And then the Lakers. The Lakers got a win over the Raptors, 123-103. Ran away with it in the end, but this was surprisingly close for a big chunk of this game. It should not have been, but this is what I predicted the other day, right? That the Raps would cover one of these games, if not win it outright. The two games that they played in LA. They absolutely had that Clippers game won at many different, and they just completely shot themselves in the foot. And then they hung with the Lakers for the very vast majority of this game until down the stretch, they just went, oh, what do we do in the fourth quarters again? And because it was like 84-82 at one point at the end of the third quarter. And then they lose by 20. So right at the end of the third quarter, 84-82, and they just got stomped. It's brutal. Like, you had Austin Reeves hitting massive shots and getting just like the lunatic LA fan treatment, which is always fun, but it's always a bit gross. But that was good. And the Lakers just notched another win. They're 5-4. They desperately needed to make sure they won that one. The Raptors are falling apart. They're 2-8. But LeBron James, another triple-double. He's just like, I think it was like 115 for his career, which is absurd. 19, 10, and 16. Considering he's older than like the sun, that's awesome. All right, let's do some weekend winners and losers.
Oh my God. I won!
Aha! The weekend winners. That's right. Cleveland. That's right. A team named Cleveland. 11-0 and absolutely unstoppable right now, aren't they? Yes, Jim, they are. They smashed the Warriors, then turned around and came back and held off a pesky Brooklyn team. Like, they should have lost that Brooklyn game. Brooklyn are exactly the team that you're like, oh, we should smash them on back-to-back. But they just play so hard and just so annoying that it's like you really have to just make sure you beat them. Just you beat them to death with their own shoes kind of thing. The thing is, it's the most impressive aspect of this Cavs thing, which is what? They're the top offense in the NBA. They're a top 10 defense as well. Mobley's absolutely killing it. But there was a moment, I think they were down 82-68 in that Brooklyn game with 35 seconds left in the third quarter. They were getting killed. They were down 14. And he came all the way back. Garland was crushing it. 8 points of his 20 in the fourth quarter. He puts them ahead with the free throws at the end, like 97, 96, and they didn't look back. Like, they're always kind of like, they're clutch. It doesn't matter if it's Darius, if it's Donnie. Mobley's taking a leap. This was amazingly enough, that game was the first time they hadn't scored 110 points in a game all year. That is an NBA record. That's how good the Cavs have been. They scored over 110 in 10 straight wins to open a season. Never been done. Never been done. They're 11-0 for the first time in franchise history because they were 10-0 for the first time in franchise history. They were 9-0 for the first time in franchise history. Well, which is pretty remarkable considering this is a team that employed LeBron James for a very large swathe of the past 2 decades. That's very good. The Cavs are awesome. Absolutely awesome. So, why is that, Jim? Mobley is also taking a leap. He's a bit of a weekend winner for me because I love me some Mobley. And the big thing when it came to fantasy this year is everybody else seemingly loves Evan Mobley. I'm like, oh, I had him in like every team I had last year. It was awesome. And like the counting stats weren't quite there to make him like an absolute fantasy god. This year they basically are. Like, he's just ripping out like 23s and 10s, 23s and 6s, like a bunch of steals, some blocks, and away he goes. And you've got that 2021 draft class, which is very, very, very patchy, but is also kind of loaded. Like, if you look through it, you're like, oh, it hits Davion Mitchell at like 9. And you're like, Jesus, what was that? But then there's so many good random role players throughout that draft class that you're like, how do you re-rank them? How do you redraft that 2021 draft class? Like Mobley, Cade Cunningham, Scoob, Scotty Barnes. You've got Jaylen Green somewhere. You've got Şengün. You've got Suggs. You've got Franz. You've got Giddy. Cam Thomas was a super late pick. Şengün was in that one. What else? Jalen Johnson, who's been shredding. Herb Jones, Cum Dog, Johnny Kuminga, Trey Murphy, Ayo Dosunmu. Like, it's unreal. And Mobley's putting together a pretty big case of like, yeah, I might be the best player from that class. What do you reckon? Cade Cunningham's been unreal this year as well. Like, it's amazing that now, we're 4 years into their careers. And you're like, yeah, we're finally seeing like Suggs has been fantastic at times. You just want everybody to stay healthy because I think that's a lot of what we've seen here, right? Like, Jaylen Green is just like the world's streakiest dude. But like Suggs has battled injuries, Franz injuries as well. Gids has been, in and out of like these weird sort of situations there in OKC, obviously. Now he's in Chicago, he's crushing it. Mobley is just like sort of developing perfectly. Anyway, big weekend winner for me, Evan Mobley. Denver! They're absolutely rolling right now. Geez, are they your weekend winner? Yeah, because they've won 5 on the trot. And I'm going to talk about the game a little later in Nas, but the MPJ game winner over Dallas, just beat Dallas. Feel good about yourselves, right? Like, they've just ripped off 5 straight at home, and they won all of them. It's exactly what they needed to do, because after their 2-3 start, they were looking all out of shape. They looked old, they looked slow, and it's like, oh, God, what is wrong with this Denver team? And it's kind of forced Michael Malone to sort of just go, right, I just have to effing trust Christian Brown and Peyton Watson shit tons. And he's still only playing 8 dudes in a game against the Mavs in November. Like, Rusty wasn't that good in this one. He had 6, 4, and 5 with a couple of turnovers. He was a minus 13 in 20 minutes. So they went, screw it. Jam Jamal Murray, 38 minutes coming back from concussion. 35 for Christian Brown. 40 for Peyton Watson, who has the sick block at the end of that, just the fingertip block. Zeke Naji Strawther was really good as well. And they're just like, yep, cool. The way to win games in November is just to shorten our rotation to only play our good dudes, which is not great. Michael Malone's like, yeah, we've got to find out, how we can limit the amount of minutes for some of these dudes. And it's 100% the Tim Robinson in the hot dog suits. Like, we're all trying to find out who's responsible. Like, Michael Malone's like, yeah, I don't know why they're playing so many minutes. You're the coach. You're playing in that many minutes, you idiot. Shush. Anyway, Denver are fantastic. That was a huge win over the Mavs. Good job. The Magic, weekend winners. I called this as well. Look, I'm not a big one on taking victory laps. Yes, you are, Jim. Shush. 2 very nice bounce back wins as they've finally figured out how to play without Paolo, right? This is what I said last week. It'll take them like a week and a bit to sort of readjust, figure out how to go, shit, we don't have our best player. What do? We don't have a point guard. We're going to absolutely stink for a week, and then we'll figure it out. And that's it. It took them a week to figure out how do we play without Paolo. And now they're actually beating some, yes, admittedly shit teams, but you can only beat the shit teams that are in front of you. And that's all they need to do while Paolo's out. Just beat the shit teams and you should be fine. Because the Wizards are the absolute epitome of the shit team, but so are the Pelicans. So after they copped that absolutely brutal run of, 5 straight losses after they lost Banchero in the Chicago game, they lost 4 straight and they weren't even competitive in the last 2. And then, you get a little bit of schedule luck and you get a couple of shit teams. Way to take care of business, Orlando. Love it. Clippers took everything to get by Toronto, but they keep winning. They were 2-4. They're now 6-4. The defense is rounding into shape, and they're just like, fuck it. Our big 3 is Norm Powell, Ivica Zubac, and James Harden. It's fine. Don't worry. We'll be right. But their defense is surprisingly excellent. So another weekend winner, Jack McVeigh, as mentioned at the top, scored his first NBA points versus OKC. Love that. Got that one to rattle in. The 3 finally dropped. Very nice. Celtics, big weekend win as well. Just 2 good wins because they have it a lapse against Brooklyn. Look like they're going to lose it. And then you go, wait a minute. We're really good. And they're deep enough and good enough. And Tatum specifically is now good enough where it's like, all right, we're not going to roll over and show our bellies. Let's just fucking keep, pegging away at it. And away we go. And they get it. And the Nets just, look, because they're not very good either, they're also happy to lose. Speaking of which, weekend winners, Brooklyn. But Jim, they lost both their games. Exactly. And they lost it in perfect fashion, where they were super close to the Cavs, fell apart at the end. They were super close to the Celtics, fell apart in the end. They had the lead in both. They blew it both times. That is capital G great tanking. Because they were getting a little bit ahead of themselves. This is not a good team at all. They do have half-decent players, but this team's not going to win the title, you know what I'm saying? Just show your flashes. They beat the Grizzlies last week. Well, yeah, during last week. They lost to the Pistons That's the way to do it. Show us something and then lose. That's the perfect way to tank. Nets are now 4-6, and that's good. Golden State, absolutely straight. Killed the Thunder until they didn't.
So he got straight killed.
But amazingly weird weekend, right? They got killed. They got absolutely creamed by the Cavs, and then they did some smoking themselves and then nearly gave up the ghost. But I think the way that they sort of bounced back and did not completely capitulate against OKC was amazing because, I don't know, it's really, really hard to come back from such a huge deficit like the Thunder were doing. And the Warriors know this. But the way that momentum was happening in that game, it's like, oh, God. And they just pulled off enough. They lose Chet, the Thunder, and then it's sort of, it all sort of starts turning again. And Golden State held their nerve and actually held them away. And that's just the sign of like, oh, yeah, pretty good coaching. Decent, deep team, and away they go. Detroit are weekend winners because they're now getting the full Tobias Harris experience, which is hilarious. Down, 2 points, just needing to get to overtime. Here we go. Tobias Harris, after Cade Cunningham intentionally misses the free throw, like 6 seconds left, and Ivy gets the offensive rebound. He misses the shot. Harris gets fouled on the rebound. He's got to tie the game. There's 1 second left. Tobias Harris misses the first one. Thanks, Tobias Harris. That is also just great tanking. Like, they also got that win over the Hawks, that really close one, because Cade was awesome. And this is fun tanking. Like, you're a shit team, Detroit. That's fine. That's good. And then it's bad. And then it's good. And then it's bad, bad, bad. It's good, bad, good, bad. That's fun. As opposed to a team I'm about to talk about. But this is great. Good job, Detroit. And also, you're sucked in for the Tobias Harris vibes. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yes. It's not great. It's not great. And then finally, other weekend winners. I mean, you've got the Grizzlies sort of cruising along at 7-4. I kind of want to mention them because they absolutely demolition-rated that Portland team. As I mentioned, 45 points without Ja, but mostly they've got just like dudes absolutely crushing it for them at the moment, which is fun. Jaren Jackson Jr. is playing the best basketball of his career, basically. You got Scottie Pippen Jr. just demolishing teams. Jake LaRavia, Santi Aldama. Like, it's just a fun, weird, janky team that doesn't have like their two best players in Desmond Bain and Ja Morant, and they keep winning. That's how you keep in touch with, like, the playoffs. That's awesome. I love this for them. That's great. Good job, Memphis. Outside of that, I already said the Clippers. The Lakers, obviously, too. Them winning that game today against the Raptors, where it sort of looked like at times they were kind of like sleepwalking through it. They turned around and won. Very impressive. And the final weekend winner, the Hawks, I'll talk about them again in 1 minute, but they've clearly come out of this DeJounte Murray trade going, got Dyson Daniels. This is incredible. 21 years old, leading the league in steals, about to get paid. And it could not be more perfect for that team. Like, once they get Bogdanovich back, you've got Trey and you've got Dyson Daniels. It's a much better fit. If Dyson's shot just keeps dropping some more, he's 21 and he's already taken an offensive leap this year just because he's been playing more. And that was always the thing. The thing is, the Pelicans saw this too. The Pelicans are like, look, every time we play him, he delivers. But the problem is, if we only play him 7 minutes, it's just not having enough of an impact. So they were like stuck between this rock and a hard place. And they should have just fucking played him more. Now Atlanta get it, and that's awesome. But the flip side of this, how about the weekend losers?
We're not losers. No, you two are winners. Big winners. When I grow up, I want to marry a big winner like you guys. Shut up.
Losers.
Loser.
Losers. The Hawks. Oh, but Jim, you just had them in winners. Yep, look, Dyson Daniels is shredding. Jalen Johnson is shredding. Trey is dropping 35 and 12s. And they keep losing. They got curb stomped in the last 6 minutes by Chicago. Like, Chicago, they got Zachy Cakes, Adam Levine back. It was a good win, actually. Probably could have had them the weekend winners, but they still stink, right? They couldn't stop Cade, though, on the game winner against when they played Detroit, the Hawks. Without Bogdan, it's just a bit tough. Like, they have very little depth, weirdly and oddly enough. They're 4-7. And this is a team that you sort of look at and you go, you should have, like, legit play-in, play-off aspirations in the East, and they're just fighting tooth and nail. Like Zachary Rissache has been like decent at times over the last week, but DeAndre Hunter being injured, Bogdan, like it just Cody, the bank teller, Zella, Vic Krejci, Cody Buffkin, like they've just been copping injuries left, right, and center, and it just sort of sucks. So yeah, Hunter, like it means you can play Rissache some more, which is good. But outside of that, losing Bogdan for like the weird month or so for the hammy, it just stinks. So Atlanta, look, that's tough. OKC, it was a good fight back against Golden State, but if they've lost Chet for any amount of time, that is just a massive weekend loser moment right there, because he has been fantastic this season and probably not heralded enough by NBA Straya because he's been bloody good. And for him to sort of drop out, they've just got zero size on that team. With Isaiah Hartenstein, still on the pine with his injury. So not good for OKC, but they're good enough and deep enough that they'll stay competitive and awesome. But it just overall sucks because watching Chet on this OKC team is awesome fun. Because Wemby gets all the headlines, but Chet is legitimately fantastic. Like, just really good. Speaking of Wemby, the Spurs were weekend losers because you can't be losing to the Jazz. They're horrible. Seriously. Wemby had 24 points, 16 rebounds, 7 blocks, and they lost to the Jazz. What is going on? It was gross. Larry Markkinen shot 5 of 15 in that game. So did Jordan Jeremy Clarkson. And the Jazz somehow won it. Like, yeah, John Collins with the 15 and 10. Yeah, the 23 for the sex man, Colin Sexton. Like, it was nuts that they lost this. Wemby went 6 of 9. Nice. From 3. 7 blocks. But the thing is, 6 turnovers. Like, what are we doing here? Spurs, 4 and 6, but that's a brutal loss. Especially, like, it felt so just dispiriting. And the Jazz are just bad. They're 2 and 7. The Spurs could be like, 5 and 5 basically, but they're 4 and 6, and it's just like brutal. The Suns, obviously, they lose KD, 8 and 1, then they lose KD, and then you lose to the Kangs. That's always a tough one, but it's like they're also weekend losers because it feels like this team is never going to get an uninterrupted run with KD, Beal, and Booker. Right? It feels like every time the three of them play together, it's just like Harden, Kyrie, and KD in Brooklyn. It's like, hey, this looks incredible. And then just one of them gets hurt. And the other one's about to come back, and then one of them gets hurt again. And like, there's just so little like continuity. But I'd also rather that be happening in November than in February or March or something, right? So still, they get together for a few weeks, look unbeatable, and then one of them fucking gets dinged up. It just sucks. The Bucks. Obviously, weekend losers, 2 and 8, took the pressure off with a win the other day, but then got smoked by the Knicks and gave up the ghost against Boston. That was more dispiriting than anything. Like Boston, you have that greater game from Giannis, and Dame just sort of is a bit shit, and you're like, we don't have Middleton. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to help that much. Oh, but that means you've got someone you can throw at Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. Chris Middleton's also pretty bloody old at this point. I don't think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are exactly quaking in their shoes at the thought of Chris Middleton stopping them. It just showed how far off the pace they are, right? Like getting killed by the Knicks and all of that bevy of like wing talent they've got, despite how thin they are. And then the Celtics just went, geez, Giannis is going off. How about we fucking just win it anyway? Yeah. Pelicans. Actually, no, I'll do the Wolves first. That was bad today. Losing the Miami. Like, it was 88-80. They send Mike Conley back in, and then they just completely shit the bed. Mike Conley as well, BT Dubs, might be a bit cooked. He was a minus 16 in a 1-point loss. He's statistically the worst shooter in the NBA this year. That's not bloody good. And so he took the last couple of shots. Don't know about this. Sometimes Chris Finch just has these games where he's just like, he's coaching and just like, what the hell? Have you done this before? And then he'll have some games where he's just incredible. It's so weird. Ant-Man wasn't having a great game, but the Wolves, like, this is the thing. And I reckon this might be like the third straight week in weekend losers that the Wolves have popped up. And it just annoys me that they're not more consistent. I get that you're still working in new different pieces like Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle, but at some point, Ant-Man's just going to go, I don't care. Like, they're 6-4, and they should be substantially better than that. They should have won this Heat game. They lost the shit game to the Spurs on a back-to-back last week, which was just dumb. And outside of that, they've lost to, what was it, the Mavs and the Lakers. And, like, those two are fine, I guess, but, yeah. Games like that, and the one today, like 95-94, this game was horrible. Like, I don't think I banged on enough about that, but, like, without Jimmy Butler, this game was absolutely just gross. Turnovers, missed shots. It was brutal. And the Wolves. Ugh. Washington. Sometimes good losses are good, even if they are bad. And sometimes losses are just bad, and they're all of Washington's losses. Like, there's tanking, and then there's what Washington are doing, which, and again, they're weekend losers. Why is that, Jim? Well, they lost both of their games over the weekend, and they got straight killed.
So he got straight killed.
They got killed by an undermanned Grizzlies by 24, and then they also got killed by an undermanned Orlando team by 27. That came after being beaten by, they got killed by a bad Heat team by 20, and they lost by 19 to the Cavs, and 20 to the Celtics, and 13 to the Warriors. I'm no math magician, but if you lose all of your games by an average of 20.5 points, you're shit. And that sucks. Oh, it's good to get some games into the young dudes. To a degree. Then there's just basketball malpractice. And that's what this is lending itself towards. It's brutal to watch. It's not fun. And like, oh, but it means that Sar's getting out there and playing. Yeah, and shooting 3 of 10 and being a minus 19 in 25 minutes. And Bub Carrington is taking 5 shots in 31 minutes. Bilal Coulibaly, he was fantastic, to be honest, today against the Magic. But you've still got Jordan Poole taking 19 shots and just being a bit shit. You're still playing Bags 9 minutes. Kispert played 25 minutes, went 1 of 7. It's just, it's so bad to watch. They're horrible. It's not even like good tanking losses. Like, I want you to play your kids and like Keyshawn George and stuff. Like, they're just, was it Keyshawn George, however you say his name? He's got awesome hair. Like, play your dudes. That's cool. You don't have Kuzma, I get it. It is just brutal to watch it, however. Like, there's a lot to be said for blooding the dudes, but Jesus, to lose by 20 every game. And then finally, the same thing goes to the Pelicans. It's just, they've got 6 dudes out at the moment that could make the East play-in tournament. Like, they could start a separate team. They've got Zion, CJ McCollum, DeJounte Murray, Trey Murphy, Jordan Hawkins all out. And I think there was somebody else as well. Oh, Herb Jones. That would be a playoff team in the East. Just those 6 dudes. Holy crap. So the Pelicans, I'll talk about it again later, but yeah, it's I've got some plans. Yeah. It's just fucking brutal. It's an NBA Straya approved performance of the weekend though, hey? That's get a bit better. That'd be nicer.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
I'll tell you what, that is a knife. Actually had a great weekend for like really fun performances. You had 39 for Triple J over the Wiz. You had Giannis 43, 13, 5 assists, 2 blocks on 18 and 29 shooting today, despite the Bucks going 2 and 8. You had Evan Mobley 23, 4 and 4 against Golden State on Saturday. So Evan Mobley Saturday 23, 4 and 4. Evan Mobley Sunday 23, 16 and 5 stocks. He shot 10 of 11 against the Nets. Boom, blocked Cam Johnson to seal the win. Tyrese Halliburton, 35, 2 and 14, went 4 of 10 from downtown, only had two turnovers against the Knickerbockers. Kyrie, out-of-body experience, had 43 and shot 7 of 22 and 6 of 8 from downtown. KD, out-dueling the Mavs before he got hurt. That was very cool, 26. Dyson Daniels, 13 steals in his last 2 games. Currently leading the league. He's an absolute menace. I love it. He's got arms the bloody length of... like basically the length of, what do we want to say? I don't know, one of those big salties up north maybe. What else? Long as the Strzelecki Rangers. It's not bad. Long as the Nullarbor. Yeah, that's all right. As long as the Garn. There you go. But come on, we're taking the piss here. Nikola Jokic, on the weekend, he had 30, 11, and 14 against Miami. That's pretty good, Jim. Yep, and then he had 37, 18, and 15 today. 37 points, 18 rebounds, 15 assists, shot 13 of 21. That's his fourth ever 30, 15, 15 game. The only player over the last 40 years with more than two. But also, no one has ever had a 37, 18, and 15 game before. Like, no one has ever had a game with those three things, at least 37, 18, and 15. What the hell, man? I'm going to hit on that again later because the actual stat lines from the people who came close are ridiculous. But no one has ever done that before. Nikola Jokic, you're taking the piss. 37, 18, and 15, the first time ever. That is an NBA Straya proof performance of the night. It was also just like, yes, it's very nice that he's automatic 2 points up the other end with Kyrie, but just give us the ball and I'll flip it in. Incredible gear. Incredible gear. How about Spud of the night, though? Once Jim figures out where the button is. Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night. Spud of the night. We had plenty of Spuds over the weekend, I'll tell you that much. We had Chris Paul go 0-6. He had 9 assists and 2 turnovers. He had 1 of 8 for Bobby, fighting Bobby Portis, fighting round the world. Against the Knickerbockers of New York City. Halliburton, before his explosion today, went 2 of 11 in that belting by Charlotte. 3 of 13 for Fred VanVleet of the Fighting VanVleets. Dame Lillard today against the Celtics, 4 of 15. Brutal. Jaden Ivey also ripped off a 4 of 15. We had a Kelly Oubre 4 of 16 game. James Harden went 5 of 17. Woo! That is insane. We also had a couple of good ones. 5 of 15 for Jordan Jeremy Clarkson and Lowry Markkinen in the same game, which is pretty amazing to go 10 of 30 combined. Very nice. What else do we have? We had some other good ones. Nurk went 0 of 4 today. Kispert 1 of 7. Hardy 1 of 7. Rui Hachimura in the game that just finished 2 of 11. You had Royce O'Neal shoot 3 of 14. Delano Banton went 4 of 18. Grayson Allen, 3 of 13. If you're wondering why the Suns lost, it was absolute bloody chaos. And pretty fun, to be honest. We also had a couple of, folks who really helped out. Because what did Alex Sarr, Tristan Da Silva, Sam Hauser, Mikal Bridges on threes, and Brandon Spindles Miller on threes all shoot? I don't know. Have you guys got any vibes on what they might have shot? What could it have been? What could it have been? A special number, maybe? Was it? Oh, that's right. They went and shot along with Bam Adebayo today. Woo! Chill. Yeah, they shot 311, baby. Thank you very much, Sarr, Da Silva, Hauser, Bridges, Brandon Spindles Miller, and Bam Adebayo. You shot the magic number. Who's old mate, no mates?
Old mate, no mates.
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 Who's got no mates today? Tobias Harris in Detroit. That's just like hilarious. That is a very fun like bus ride to get back onto. Just like, hey, so Cade Cunningham missed that second free throw on purpose, and like it all actually worked out because Ivy got the rebound, he missed, but then you got the rebound as well, Tobias. What happened then? He's like, I missed the free throw. You got it, boss. It's like, hey, Tobias, can you hit 2 free throws to like send this game to overtime? You got it, boss. 1 free throw it is. It's like, no. I need you to hit 2. He's like, how about I miss both? You got it. It's like, yep, thanks, Tobias. The most hated man in like disparate cities around America. It's amazing. Old mate, no mates as well. Doc Rivers, I very much enjoyed this. So they're 2-8, and everyone's just dunking on Doc again. There was a tweet that went viral about how the 2008 Celtics were the greatest team of all time, and there's no debate because that team won a championship with Doc Rivers as their head coach. No team has ever done that. No other team ever will. Spot the lie. I'm just saying. He's horrible. They're horrible. All of his teams have been shit for the last decade. I don't know what to tell you. It's just what they are. Oh, I mean, the Clippers would have won if they didn't get... Yeah. That's what you can say about all of his teams. Oh, they would have won, but for fucking what? Oh, an injury here. Yeah, Doc would have absolutely found a way to have shit the bed and fuck something up. Don't worry about that. Houston Clippers, BT Dubs. Outside of that, the old mate, no mates. Giannis versus Jaylen Brown. This was fun. Jaylen Brown's the old mate, no mates, because Giannis sort of like elbows him in the fucking face. And Jaylen Brown doesn't get the call. Old mate, no mates with the refs there. And then Giannis is like, oh, man, I didn't mean to get you in the head. He's like gone to shake his hand, like, no hard feelings there, bub, on the way back up the court. And then Giannis goes to shake the hand, and Giannis too slows him and brushes his hair. Oh, got him. Oh, that's one of the great ones. Oh, and then he's like, I'm just fucking with you, and went to shake his hand. And Jalen's like, fuck off, idiot. Which is understandable. And then Jaylen Brown came out later and said, Giannis is a child. That's so fucking funny. He's a child. Giannis is a child. I'm just focused on helping my team get a win, and that's what we did tonight. I mean, he's not wrong, and it's also not a bad... The old too slow high five is fucking funny no matter what. Like, if the person is not expecting it, it is a 100% guaranteed laugh from me every time. To be honest, I do it to the squid all the time. And I think it's fucking hilarious. He doesn't like it that much. He's like, bloody devil, God, Dad. I'm like, you're all right, buddy. And, but that's a pantsing. It's absolutely a pantsing. And then Jaylen Brown calling him a child. That's just... Oh, fingers kissing emoji. But we had two other great pantsings today. Jalen Green absolutely fucking yammed one on Cade Cunningham. That was awesome. And Bilal Coulibaly absolutely got Tristan Da Silva in the Washington-Orlando game. It was very nice. He just went, wait a minute, there's fucking no one in the paint driving. But he did that in French. Wait a minute, there is no one in the paint. I am going to drive. Fuck you, Tristan Da Silva. That's exactly what was going through his mind. Better than Lonzo Ball / Bronny James.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. We're coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody, that's right. Ty Jerome. What? Jim, who? Ty Jerome? Yep, 20 points for the Cleveland. That's right, Cleveland. Cavaliers against Golden State went 3-3 from 3. Free for free. 7 of 8 from the floor, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Stephon Castle in his fourth start, 23 points. He was awesome. 8 of 16 from the floor, 3 of 7 from downtown. Love me some Stephon Castle already. But then the two absolutely better than Bronny James, Ben Simmons, Lonzo Balls. Scottie Pippen Jr. had a triple-double. It was a Jason Kidd triple-double, 11, 10, 11. But it was a triple-double nonetheless, and that will pop up again later. I hope you've been paying attention. There will be a test. But also Benny Mathurin. I love me some Benny Mathurin. He dropped 38 points, 8 rebounds on 13 of 18 shooting, 7 of 9 from downtown against the Knicks today. Absolutely blew the doors off the Knickerbockers and put Mikal Bridges to the sore. Josh Hart, didn't matter. He was absolutely en fuego. Benny Mathurin, better than Bronny James, Ben Simmons, and Lonzo Ball. But Scottie Pippen Jr., 11, 10, and 11. That's also better than Bronny James because he's also the son of a legend. Sucked in, Scottie Pippen Jr. wins the Battle of the Juniors. Not bad. Good size. All right, how about a bit of a magic tweet of the day? It's everyone's favorite, isn't it, once I find the drop? Let's do it. I also just... I haven't banged on enough about Yuki for the Grizzlies, and he's going to get maybe his own segment later, I'm just saying. Anyway, magic tweet of the day. Our Commanders fell just short in today's game against the Steelers. Thanks, Magic. I love how salty he gets. He's like, we lost. That's so good. Nothing about the Lakers win. He's like, I'm just football. I love that he's just gone full football dude, and that's cool. Finally, last one, dickhead of the weekend. Dickhead of the week. So there's a rampaging debate. Who are the worst hometown callers in the NBA? A lot of it's Sixers, Golden State, and yeah, Golden State though today after Chet went down. There it is, Andrew Wiggins dishing out punishment. It's like, yeah, you can say that he's aggressively gone to the basket, but dishing out punishment is a fucking dickheaded way of saying he injured Chet. Like, he snapped a 7'4" dude over in midair. Not bad. Yamming on a dude, but he also didn't yam. He just fucking, like, poleaxed him in midair. So, I don't know if you want to say dishing out punishment in that exact spot. I understand the sentiment, but still a dickhead move from Golden State's callers. All right, let's do some yeah-nahs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee. This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Straya.
NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do it some yeah-nahs. Hey, Jim, are the Cavs legit? I feel like someone was commenting like, oh, yeah, this dude's saying the Cavs are legit. Yeah, they hadn't lost, idiot. They're 11-0. They're legit. They're the best offense in the league. Top 10, I think they were top 8 defense going into today. We could actually just check that right now because they were very, very, very good. And they are still the top offense. And in terms of their defense, yeah, they're 9th by 0.2 behind Minnesota. They just have these, as I sort of said, right, the different connective tissue is what makes the Cavs so fascinating. And in a game like we saw yesterday against Brooklyn, where it's like, oh, God, they're throwing everything at us. Do we know how to answer? And the answer was resoundingly yes. And then the day before, they smoked the Warriors. Because remember, the Warriors, they had like one of the best defense. They were the second best defense in the league. They're now the third best because they played Cleveland and got waxed. So it's just, I think the fun part for Cleveland is they go, right, is Isaac Okoro going to do much today? And they're like, no. Now we'll go to my sweet baby Karis LeVert then. And it's like, yeah, he's kind of got it going. And then Ty Jerome will do a little bit of something. Sam Merrill will do a little bit of something. George Niang, the minivan, he'll do a little bit of something. And it's pretty good. Like, they probably need that one little bit more of an uptick in class off that bench. But at the same time, they can do that. Because they're fucking good and they haven't lost yet. They're 11-0. Mobley, would he go number 1 in that 2021 redraft? Yeah, nah. I kind of maybe think so because I think you can sort of, like, you can see Cade's limitations a lot more than you can see Mobley's limitations, you know what I mean? And same with Scoob. Like Scoob might be the one who's a little bit more out of sight, out of mind. But when he's on, like, he looks like the most complete player. But I feel like, yeah, Mobley is like the next gen KG. Is 100% in play. He can shoot the piss out of it, hit threes, like, and if we can just keep like that 23-16, 4 steals and a block, like, just you're taking the piss, aren't you? Yeah, probably maybe take him number 1. God, he's good. 5 straight home wins. Denver fixed, or was it just home stuff? Yeah, nah. I think they at least steadied the ship, right? More than anything, I'm not entirely convinced that they're fixed. But today was heartening because you can go toe-to-toe with a team like the Mavs and still eke by them. The defense was fantastic. Clay shot like shit. Luka was not really on. He had the 24, 9, and 9. But he had 5 turnovers, shot 2 of 8 from 3. Like, it was just we can still beat anybody when we play at our best. We are also starting Peyton Watson and Christian Brown. We don't have Aaron Air Gordon. So maybe once he gets back and gets healthy, and if we can stay healthy the rest of the year. I think, look, I talked about blooding the young dudes earlier about Washington. I think this is probably good that Denver had basically forced just to go, fucking okay, Michael Malone. You have to play Christian Brown 35 minutes and Peyton Watson 40. Like, that's good for them because they've got to figure out how to fucking do it or else they're going to be shit. So, yeah, I kind of think they're on the road to being fixed, if that makes sense, more than anything. So, yeah. Anyway, that's a good one. Don't mind that. We've talked about a lot of teams today, haven't we? Other Knicks getting a bit squirrely. Yeah, nah. 4 and 5. Their wins have come over the Pacers when they beat them at home. They smashed them. They've beaten the Pistons and the Heat and a horrible Bucks team. They've now lost to the Pacers, the Hawks, the Rockets, and the Cavs and the Celtics. So it's hard to really get a read on the Knicks, isn't it? Very frustrating. I think they'll be fine. And I think this is just adjustment period stuff. Like, I think we're in the power rankings last week, right? We're talking about how there were teams that are just like in figuring it out mode. And that's exactly what they are. Brunson and Cat, like if you give them just a month of playing together, they'll have it a lot more figured out than they do right now. But they do need just like that 1 or 2 extra dudes off the bench, and they kind of just don't have it. Like Precious and stuff like that, fine. Ariel Huckporty, fine. But the fact that Bridges is just not playing very well is probably not the dude that you give up that many draft picks for. He had 8 points today in that loss. Like, if you're getting outplayed by the tune of 30 points by Benny Mathurin, oof, it's just, the game before that, 17 points on 18 shots, 10 points on 10 shots, 15 points on 14 shots, 15 points on 13 shots, 17 points on 16 shots. His free throw rate, he's going to the line 1.8 times a game. That's horrible. So I don't know if it's a Knicks problem as it is just a Mikal Bridges problem. All right, unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Tell you know who the Knicks need. Julius Randle. No. He does average a 26-4 so far this month, but I reckon the Wolves, isn't it? If you watch them and you're like, oh, we have a release valve scorer in Julius Randle, and it just doesn't feel like it works great. Like, doesn't it feel like you could probably spend that money a little bit better? Maybe go, hey, Julius, do you like it in Portland? Because, I don't know, we've flipped you for like Denny Avdija and like one of those guards to get some fucking extra scoring to help out Ant-Man. And I was so bullish this year, I think, on the Wolves because I'm like, I think Ant-Man will be that good that it should run roughshod over a lot of the other problems and qualms and queries. But at the same time, it just hasn't. Anyway, all right, this show's going real long. Let's speed up the rest. Outback Takehouse. Oh, yeah. It's Monday at Outback, and you know what that means? Oh, yeah. Took the squids to daycare and school this morning. Boom. Cricket bats out the side of the pram and on the scooter. Whack, 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 whack. Just as they were swooping. That's right, it's Swoopy Boy wings. Only at Outback. Made out of real 100% Aussie magpie, and it's only at Outback. And today's flame grilled take is the Pelicans should put Zion on ice for the rest of the year. Same with CJ McCollum, or trade him and tank the rest of the way. Only at Outback. So this is what I kind of mentioned, right? Like, you're missing 6 dudes who could be starters. 6! And I think they own their own first pick this year. The Pels, yep. They get a 2025 first rounder from Milwaukee, which is protected 5 to 30, or Brooklyn's protected 1 through 4. Yeah, Pelicans, just give up the ghost. It sucks. It really sucks. All right, Australian Player Watch right after we hear from Hammer.
This is Shane Heal, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, time for NBA Straya's Australian Player Watch for Monday, November 11. Big weekend. Box Hill Benny, Ben Simmons out there in the 108-104 loss to Boston. He had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. That's another triple single for Box Hill Benny. Hasn't hit double figures in scoring yet this season, but has actually showed some very nice moments. There was a highlight that we posted that was very, very neat. He went 4 of 6 from the floor in 27 minutes. He also had a steal. The Ben Simmons tracker, the total fouls so far this year, 25. Total made shots, 20. Turnovers, 23. Not great, but still getting back into shape, getting back up to speed. He had some very nice flashes. That's all we can ask at this point. Josh Giddey in the win over at Dyson Daniels. That's right. The two Aussies went hammer and tongs. The 125-113 win. Josh Giddey had 13 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 turnovers. Shot 5 of 9 from the floor, including 1 of 1 from downtown and 2 of 2 at the free throw line. How nice is that? The answer is very. Josh Green for Charlotte in the 19 minutes in the 20-point win over in Indiana. 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 block, shot 1 of 2 and 0 of 1 from 3. And in the loss to Philly today, 105-107. That was a tough one. He had 2 points, 0 of 3 from the floor, 0 of 2 from 3. He had 2 of 2 at the free throw line, however. That's where the 2 points came from. He had 2 rebounds, 2 assists and 1 steal, though. So he's doing a little bit of something. It's always fun. Like, they've got Miller back. They've got Miles Bridges out there as well. So he's starting, but there's a lot of sort of defense-first aspects to his game. And if he's hitting shots, he plays more. Simple as that. Johnny Furphy played twice on the weekend. Unfortunately, he's yet to score his first NBA bucket. In that same Charlotte game against Greeny, he played 4 minutes, went 0 of 1 from the floor. It was from 3, and he got 1 rebound. And the same thing today. He had 4 minutes. He went 0 of 2 from the floor. Missed 1 from 3 and 1 rebound. Jingling Joe Ingles got a did not play coach's decision against the Heat in the Minnesota game. The Minnesota-Miami game. And in the other Minnesota game on the weekend. Did they play one on the weekend? Oh, yeah, they smashed the Blazers. And I don't believe he got out there in that one either. No, he was the only Wolf not to play. So, yeah, he's just getting some rest in. Just doing a bit of bench coaching. It's classic Jingles. Dyson Daniels in that loss to Detroit. He was amazing. An equal career high, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists and 2 blocks, and 7 steals. Woo! Aussie record. Unreal. Just the biggest amount of steals in the NBA this year. Boom. He went 7 of 15 from the floor, 2 of 6 from 3, and 2 of 2 at the line. Very, very nice, I'll tell you what. And in the Chicago game against our man, Josh Giddey, he had 16, 8, and 3. He had 6 steals. 13 steals over 2 games is absurd. Absolutely absurd territories from the vacuum, but that's why it's called the vacuum. Grab a hold of that ball or just be bloody sucked into there. Off you go. 7 of 15 from the floor, 0 of 3 from downtown, 2 of 4 at the line. Dyson Daniels leading the league in steals. All defensive first teamer. Boom. Paddy Mills. 111-110 win against his old team, the San Antonio Bandera Spurs. He had 5 points, shot 2 of 3 from the floor, 1 of 2 from downtown, 1 rebound, 0 assists, 2 turnovers. Good to see Paddy getting regular minutes too. Rock'em, sock'em, block'em, jock'em, Landau, the Rooster. He got 6 minutes in the loss to OKC, 0 points, 0 of 1 from 3, 2 rebounds and a foul. And then in the win over Detroit, he played a little bit longer. It was like 16 minutes. He got 3 points, 0 of 3 from the floor. Missed his 3-pointer, but he went 3 of 4 at the line, 5 rebounds, 3 fouls, and a turnover. And as mentioned, Jack McVeigh, the Unabomber, had 6 minutes against OKC, and he hit his first shot, his second shot, I think. He was like 0 of 2, 1 of 2 rather. Hits his 3, 2 rebounds, 3 points. Jack McVeigh had his first NBA points. That is awesome. Luke Travers is crushing in the G League at the moment. He was, I think, active actually for the first Cleveland game of the weekend, but didn't get out there. And Aussie Matty T for the Trailblazers. So he got a did not play coach's decision against the Wolves on the weekend. And so did do-up, bob, do-up, shib-a-dop, bob, do-up. And then against the Grizzlies today, do-up got out there. Matty T, he's still rehabbing his right knee. But do-up got out there for 5 minutes and took 6 shots. 1 of 6 in 5 minutes. Not bad. 0 of 5 from downtown. He had 1 rebound and he was a -6. He had 2 points. So he hit the 1 shot that wasn't a 3. Good on you, do-up. And Alex Dukas didn't get out there as well for OKC against the Golden State Warriors. I expected he's down with the Blue in the G League. All right, very quick. Andrew Gay's Graham MAMBA Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence. Let's do it.
Andrew Gay's Grey Mamba.
All right, Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence. Scottie Pippens. That's right, the first father-son duo in NBA history to have a pair of triple-doubles. Scottie Pippen did it. Now his son's done it. It's going to take away for a while for Bronny James to do it, I reckon. But that's very cool. Scottie Pippens coming out the wazoo, getting triple doubles. Hey, there was another one. Excellence. Paul George. Like, as much as we kind of love dumping on him here on NBA Straya, he's the only remaining player from the 2010 draft class that's active. It's pretty crazy. 2010. It's only Paul George. From 2009, you've still got 7 players, which is James Harden, Steph Curry, DeRozan there, James Johnson, aka Bloodsport, Drew Holiday, Taj Gibson. Still amazing that he's on Charlotte. And Patty Thrills. And then 2011 still, I think, has 10 players. You got Kyrie, Alec Burks, Markieff Morris, Vooch, Tobias Harris, Reggie Jackson, Corey Joseph, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, and Klay Thompson. So, good job by Paul George. It's also just like, yeah, it's a long time ago now, which is crazy to think. I'll tell you what. But Scottie Pippen, the first father-son duo to both have triple-doubles in NBA history. That's pretty bloody good. All right, what about a Patty Mills Game Day? Well, a Game Day Twitter check-in. All right, let's have a look and see what Patty's been up to. Some nice posts, I think, from him on the weekend. Hey, that's a Bangers Baines post. What's that from? That's from ages ago. Weird one. Anyway. Oh, what about Jock? There we go. Road tripping. Oh, he's got the speed dealer sunnies. They're looking good. Actually, Luke Travers had a really good post as well. Looking very schmick in his very cool tops, actually. That dude has got some slick jumpers. There we go. The new guy. He's wearing his university jumper. Got the ball from when he played his first game. Hanging out, wearing his Cavs top. That looks awesome. So good job by Luke Travers. That's some good posts. I enjoyed those. All right. Let's do some game previews for tomorrow. Game previews. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. Geez, this show's gone on a bit. Tell me about it. Right. Tuesday. I'm just going to check these. These lines were done earlier today. Cleveland take on Chicago to make it 12-0. They were 7.5 point favorites. Is that correct? Let's find out. Yes, 7.5 point favorites. I'm still able to go with Cleveland. Chicago's defense can be an absolute mess at times. They just kind of get into shootouts. And Levine, look, when he plays, they have a bit of a chance, but Cleveland have been that good, I'm kind of loath to go against them. So I'm going to go the Cavs minus 7.5. We then have Washington at Houston. The Rockettes are 13.5 point favorites. Washington, as I quite literally just pointed out, they lose by an average of 20.5 points. So I'm going to have to take Houston minus 13.5. They lose by an average of 20.5. They quite literally have not had a loss that's been less than 13 points. I don't know what to tell you. They're very, very, very bad. They have also won 2 games, though. That was against Atlanta, which just shows you how bad Atlanta are. Washington getting killed in every game. The closest game they've had is a 13-point loss to the Warriors, and they've beaten Atlanta twice. What a world. I'm going to go the Rockets minus 13.5. We also have Brooklyn taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, the Nets are now 1.5 point favorites in New Orleans, which makes sense. You got Cam Thomas going back to New Orleans. He was from LSU. You've got Ben Simmons back to LSU as well. They're just an LSU kind of team. 1.5 point favorites against this Pelicans team that won't have Zion. Will have Spindles Ingram and not a giant bunch else. It is very tempting to go Brooklyn minus 1.5 because they do have some serious veteran NBA players on that team. But I feel like they could easily fall apart. But the 1.5 isn't much. It's basically like, do you think Brooklyn can beat the Pelicans? And judging from what the Pelicans have shown, they probably can. So I'm just going to have to go Brooklyn. Hold my nose. I don't like it, but they've been showing so much fight the last week or so. Let's go Brooklyn. Washington, I've already done that one. Clippers at OKC. This is a 7.5 point line now. It started at 10.5 very recently. OKC, look, that was a tough one. Both teams on... Actually, the Clippers aren't on a back-to-back, are they? I'm going to go the Clippers plus 7.5. They just sort of play tough. OKC had been blowing teams out, but on a back-to-back, losing Chet, it's a bit of a tough one. I'm going to go the Clippers plus 7.5. And then finally, we have Sacramento at San Antonio. Sacramento coming off a huge win against the Suns. Going to take on the Spurs, which would be pretty interesting. So, The Spurs annoy me because they haven't been doing very well, but they are 4-6, and this feels like a game they could 100% win. They're underdogs at home. Let's go the Spurs plus 1.5. Yeah, we'll see how we go. All right, as mentioned though, what do we do? 9-13 on Saturday's games? Not bloody bad. And we'll do like an accounting of all the picks so far because we've got them all tracked. So I think we'll try to do that very briefly in one of our other shows. But there you go. That's it for today. 5 games tomorrow. We'll be back to wrap them all up on NBA Straya. That's what we do. So check us out on Facey, Twitter, IG. What else? TikTok, YouTube, all the good stuff right there. We're all over the socials. Social boy Leo is putting up heaps of fun stuff, which is good. Get around NFL Australia with myself and Gaz as well. Chaos NFL week. I'll tell you what, absolutely copped a battering in the picks. Yeesh. Check us a rating review on your Apple Podcast, your Spotify, your YouTube, whatever app you use on your Android phone to listen to the show. Rate, review, star, comment, do all the good stuff. Come on. Come on. Help a brother out, would you? And also get around all the other shows we do. The AFLW Today show. That's going gangbusters because it's AFLW finals. We've got Cricket Today podcast. The Aussies just got smoked by the Pakistanis. That was hilarious. So the boys have got plenty to say about that. What else? The Football Today podcast. If you're into your soccer, we've also got hold all tickets for your GG needs. Get around all of those. And big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. Check out House Hats as well as Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Sex Jedi, Green, and Dozers behind the tunes you hear throughout the show. Smash them all in Bandcamp, Triple J and Earth. Facey, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you listen to your tunes, support Australian bands. We did on the weekend. Tism was awesome. What a gig that was at the Might Music Bowl. Machine Gun Fellatio. Haven't seen them since like a festival 1 million years ago. They're almost exactly the same. It's hilarious. They've got 6 amazing songs and everything else sucks. Anyway, Tism were fantastic. What a night. Tell you what, a few tins for your mate Jim there. All right, that's it. Good weekend. Fun weekend. The injuries suck, but at least the basketball's been unreal. So we will catch you tomorrow, you dickheads, to wrap up the 5 games then. Until then, I guess, this NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would you? And little who's it now?